I am on the hunt for rare and retired Lego here at National Brick Events in Leicester. The event has just opened up behind me. I'm in on an early bird ticket, so it's not very busy just yet, which is surprising because there was a massive queue outside, but I think it is a pretty big hall, so I think everyone's still pretty dispersed at the moment. We're here specifically looking for just a couple of sets. I'm not... Loud music has just started next to me. I'm specifically looking for the final attainable modular that we're looking for, the Grand Emporium. If we can find one of those, that would be a big thumbs up. Failing that, Disney training station at a reasonable price. We're not looking to overpay for either of them. Ideally, we want a used set that's been disassembled, rebagged, and in a smashed up box. That would be absolutely perfect. What would also be pretty good is if they turned that really loud music down. We're starting at the opposite end of the hall. This time for two reasons. One, it gets us away from the speaker, and two, we're trying to go against the grain of the flow of traffic a little bit, and straight away there's a couple of decent sets on there. We've got the Friends Apartments, we've got Thor's Hammer. Thor's Hammer is a set that I've had my eye on for a while. It's not something I'm looking to pick up imminently, but long term now we've got a little bit more display space. Maybe that's something that might be in our future. I know Anna really wants that one as well. As ever, there's a little something for the Trekkies in here as well. We've got the Millennium Falcon in there for less than normal retail price. We've got a mechanical camel, very expensive, a four-figure mechanical camel. Is that what that's going for these days? Yikes. And then some of the lower cost Star Wars stuff down the front as well. We've also got a few bits on this stall next to this one as well. As I've now snuck past, I can get a slightly better angle on it. It's a nice little pile of goodies all in one place. We've got a Ghostbusters Firehouse for $8.50, a Daily Bugle for $4.15. We've got Ninjago City, we've got Minas Tirith, all kind of piled on top of each other. I suspect that pile won't last the day. We've got the Pokemon set there as well, Lion Knight's Castle. There's lots of goodies over here, the Upside Down. Both of the early Simpsons sets, the Quickie Mart and the Simpsons house in here as well. And as usual, the slightly lower cost stuff here at the front, including one day, I'm not going to buy it without its big brother, but one day we'll pick up both of those. We've also got a pile of big Technic cars and various other vehicles on the back there, including that rather snazzy looking boat just there. And then we come into a nice assortment of BrickLink designer program sets. Can't you tell we've just had a bunch sent out? We've got Walt there from the latest series. In fact, most of these aren't the most recent ones, so they have been around a little bit longer. We're also getting to that time of year. It's 30 degrees outside, so the Winter Village sets are starting to reappear at conventions because people are starting to think in terms of their winter villages. We've got the wind turbine up there as well, next to some of the theme park stuff, which is a nice little assortment of sets, plus that Lone Ranger train that I've been seeing at the last couple of conventions and do like the look of. It's not my top priority train, that would be the Disney one, but I do think that Lone Ranger train is a part of my future, just maybe not today. We've obviously got loads of built stuff on display here as well. Some very snazzy little collections. This one is very, very cool. And this one, I show you every time I see it. It's one of my favourite modified sets that I see when I'm doing my rounds. Just Palace Cinema, absolutely covered in pop culture. We've got Star Wars, we've got Marvel, we've got Batman. It's very, very cool. And there is my first retired modular sighting of the day. We've got the Fire Brigade over there at 675 next to a tower bridge. So a pet shop that has just reappeared next to it. 325 is actually not too bad for the pet shop, I don't think. We've got one of the Doctor Who sets there as well. You don't see them very often. People do often ask about the Doctor Who stuff. And then, as we're now going to be having a much bigger city, I am starting to think in terms of getting a few more vehicles to expand it, give it a little bit more life. So we are keeping an eye out for any really cool city vehicles that we don't already have in the collection. A couple of very big Technic cars there. Some quite cool bits. That Indiana Jones one is quite snazzy at the top there as well. We've got a Diagon Alley. We've already seen a couple of those today. And then a load of Friend stuff at the front here. And then we get into the more recent stuff at this end. Creel house, although there is a Hobbit set above that, brand new, and an Eternals one. I think that Eternals one is less than original retail price. I know there's John Lewis had a bit of hassle shifting the Eternals stuff. And it looks like some of the traders are having the same issue. Everyone wants it. Just needs to. If it keeps dropping, maybe we'll take the plunge one day. I didn't mind the movie. A little reminder to me that I still haven't built my Hogwarts Express that I bought back at Bricktastic in February. So we probably need to get on that at some point. A few more of the bigger Star Wars sets as well. That's exactly the kind of thing I'm looking for with the sets that I want, used and rebagged, and therefore much cheaper than you would normally expect to pay. If we can find a Grand Emporium or a Disney training station with that kind of setup, that'd be awesome. We've got some more shiny boxes here as well with the used stuff in. This might be the spot. Lots of used sets, but in nice boxes. So 425 for a used Millennium Falcon, 415 for a used Eiffel Tower. Got a used and complete Gringotts for 310. We've got the Ewok Village there for, I think that's 460. There you go, that shows you the difference between the used and the sealed on the upside down there. Used for 425, sealed is 550. We've also got a used, I tell you what, that used Ghostbusters Firehouse for 565 is a really good price. There's some good stuff on here. A used and complete Daily Bugle for 280. We've got the 1989 Batmobile for 300 there as well. Ooh, there's some goodies on there. Lots of lovely goodies. And then we come to the next one along and we've got the Batman art set. And that is something that we are looking for the new studio. I want to get lots of the art sets all around the wall just to make it all Lego-y. I don't think it's a purchase for today because I go and buy a load of wood this afternoon at Wickes. But if I see either of the two sets, I am allowing myself to get those. That's pretty much the only thing I'll be buying today, though, if they have anything. But we've got another Daily Bugle over there, a Disney Castle, the Crocodile is another one that I would like from a train wall. I have seen that a little bit cheaper other places, though. Not today, but I don't think that's the best price you can get that for. And then we've got some of the smaller goodies down here. We've got the biker gang here again, hanging out with the Tasmanian Devil, and then a load of these custom upscale minifigures that have been made out of the Star Wars masks, which are very cool. There's another one of the white whales. Would love to get my hands on the BrickLink construction site one day. Then we've also got this enormous space display where we've got some of the more modern stuff, and then it flows into some of the classic space, and that is quite a large collection of very cool classic space. And now we've made it over to another one of the big stalls where we start off with a load of Technic vehicles, but the vehicles I'm more interested in are these ones down the front here. Wow, hiding, but always have a look behind stuff. We've got a Pokemon gift with purchase hiding there for 95. I've seen that sell for a lot more at conventions before and actually sell. Encouraging to see that now at 30 quid. I've got about 8 of those at home because it was the gift with purchase around Black Friday last year, I think. We've got another Simpsons house over there. An Orient Express for 435. You don't see a lot of those. Got a detective's office up there for 450. There's not a lot in the way of modulars here today. I never see Grand Emporium anymore. It's very sad. And then we've got all the Star Wars stuff down this end as well. And then I turn around, and again we have another sea of boxes. I'm drawn towards big white BrickLink boxes. We've got an assembly square down there for 250. On the topic of BrickLink boxes, though, I've spotted that winter chalet there for 340. Which is very tempting. And that town plan set, every time I see that, I want it. I just want that cinema around a little town square in the city, but I just can't justify £360 on what's basically a bunch of facades. Got a couple of older speed champions down the front here, is it again? Which is always fun. See, this is heartbreaking when you're looking for a specific modular and you come to a store like this where you can see they've got a few. We've got the Brick Bank, we've got the Parisian restaurant, detective's office, some stuff you don't normally see. And then there's a very obvious modular shaped gap and I'm just afraid to ask what was there. because this is the stall closest to the door that I walked past to start at the back of the room. And if it turns out that was a Grand Emporium, I'm just going to go and have a little cry in my car. So we're not going to ask because we don't want to know. We have the usual sea of minifigures down the bottom here as well. And also some used BrickHeads that have been disassembled and bagged up, which is interesting because the prices look quite low. So if you're into Star Wars BrickHeads, these are like 8 quid, 15 quid. Not too bad. We've seen this display before, but it never stops being impressive. The thing that always impresses me most is I don't understand how they get it here. I'm on the verge of having to move a much smaller collection than this to the new studio, and I'm allowing myself like a month to do it. This collection gets moved and set up on a Saturday morning and then packed away again, and is still all not smashed up, which is very impressive. They're obviously much better at packing than I am. And then we have an enormous football stadium, complete with football going on in there, and a dinosaur next to Tweety Pie, amongst others, which is very cool. We've seen it a few times before, but it never stops being very impressive. Very cool. And then a nice assortment of Speed Champions and BrickHeads and some of the other lower price, like best value Lego sets you find. The Speed Champions and the BrickHeads are always awesome. Little pocket money sets, entry points. But there is some stuff aimed at the older folk in there as well. That T-Rex breakout set, I know, is one that Anna has got her eye on. It's very cool space display, including this bit. I really like these textured art display things. Anna's been tasked with making something like this for our new studio wall, but these are very cool. Little art displays, textured Lego cool stuff. Very, very snazzy. Reassuring to look in a bucket of football badges and see the most important one right near the top. That's how it should be. And then we're back round to where we started, I think. I've done this in such a random order today. I'm trying to work out if I've seen everything. I think I have. I'm really tempted by these Ghostbusters firehouses. $5.85 for a used one. Weirdly, the only thing holding me back is that it's still there, which sounds so counterintuitive, but the show's been open like 45 minutes and no one's bought it, which makes me think, is it as good a deal as I think it is? Or, I mean, I guess it's mega expensive, still at over £500. It's not really an impulse purchase, which does mean it's officially not an impulse purchase for me either, and I will be in trouble if I buy it, so I probably shouldn't. What we have got is another very cool collection. Lots of cars, the big cars. Never seen Ollie Kirk's house built before, actually. That's a like ludicrously expensive set. I've seen that on sale at conventions before, with 4 numbers on the price tag, which I think probably is a bit too much for it, but it still goes for a lot of money. Quite cool to see it built. And then more of these big Technic cars. And then probably for the best, as far as my wallet is concerned, that's the only one of these I've seen in here today. I would very much like to have found one. Alas, today seems twasn't to be. I am thinking, though, if I do end up getting that, we've already got Main Street. We probably are going to have to grab one of these. I know Anna's got one on display in the living room. I have asked. I'm not allowed to take it into the city. But if I'm doing a full-on theme park with a Disney Main Street and a Disney train, we kind of have to at some point, don't we? So maybe we're on the lookout for one of those as well. And then we've got some very snazzy Star Wars bits and bobs and minifigures and the inside of one of these. And then these little book dioramas are awesome. So obviously, as you can imagine, all based on books. You can see the book they're based on underneath, and then they are on a little book stand and have a little diorama from said book on top of it, which I just think is really cool. I know Anna would be all over that one, but they're all very, very cool. That one's probably A Little Bit of Me. I like that one a lot. That one's very cool as well. They're such a cool idea. There you go. That's who you need to be following to see more of these. And you should look for more of these because they're great. See, this puts me in a little bit of a pickle. When the Adventures in Transylvania set came out, I got it, but then I sold it because I didn't have any room to put it. And now I've got room to put it. But it's so much more expensive than I sold it for. Ah! Well, I've done a couple of laps. It doesn't look like either of the sets I was allowing myself to buy today are here. There are some really good deals. The Ghostbusters Firehouse in particular over here, I am very tempted by, but I've seen Ghostbusters Firehouses on multiple different stores. In fact, there's been a couple of repeating sets today. Ghostbusters Firehouse, the Simpsons sets, the Upside Down from Stranger Things. I'm seeing them repeating at various different traders. They're 3 sets that have been hugely popular over the last few years. Their prices have exploded. And I wonder if with those 3 sets, they've now hit the point where the price has kind of topped out. Everyone who was willing to overpay for them has now got them. And they are now just kind of, I mean, the convention's been open over an hour and they're all just still sitting there, even though the used Ghostbusters Firehouse over here, it's the cheapest one I've ever seen. And it's still just sat there. So I wonder if these sets, those ones in particular, are maybe due a price correction. Not today, I imagine, but certainly something for me to keep an eye on, because I would like all of them. Well, maybe not the Stranger Things, but I'd like the Ghostbusters and the Simpsons ones. I don't want them enough for them to be the most expensive sets I've ever bought. So the most expensive set I've ever bought was the Pokemon set for $580. So I'm not going beyond $580, which does mean that Ghostbusters house is just below. I can't buy it today. I just can't buy it today. I'm going home. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for us. Subscribe to the channel for loads more Lego content. I'm off to Wickes to buy wood for the new studio. Thank you very much for watching.